I need to just cough it out.
Umhlaba siyawuthatha, siyawuthatha 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 umhlaba siyawuthatha. Amandla.
Welcome to Andile Mngxitama Speak podcast. Please, we ask you to subscribe and to share and to like the content. Now, today we're going to discuss a very controversial subject. You know, all of us were shocked when during the ceremony to hand over the certificate to the Zulu king, we saw part of that event, a very disturbing image. Firstly, we saw the bishops of the Anglican Church, and then the king knelt down, and these guys put oil on his head, anointing him, in other words, and then finally putting a ring on his finger. Now that ring has brought a lot of controversy in the public arena. That ring looks like the Freemasons' ring. And so what does that mean? Does that mean that the king of the Zulu people is a Freemason member, and therefore he rules in the general interest of the Freemasonry? What other possible explanation can we put forward? But he is not alone. He is not alone. We have in that list serious black leaders such as Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Thabo Mbeki, and it is alleged that even the bishop of the Shembe Church, Unyazi, has got this ring, and also the archbishop of the largest church, Ntate Lekganyane. Of course, Ntate Lekganyane and the Shembe leader, I have not yet seen full-on picture. I have seen some images which do suggest that they have the ring on, but it is not as clear as these other leaders, such as Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, Desmond Tutu. Those ones, they are proudly presenting this ring, this Freemasonry ring. We saw Ntate Mandela being inducted into one of these orders. The image is there. Let's look at it. We can all see that Mandela is part of this order, this secret society order, which is part of the infrastructure of secret societies. There are three that I wish to focus on: the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Bilderberg group. Let's start with the Illuminati. It was established on the 1st of May in 1776 by Adam Weishaupt, a professor of law at the University of Ingolstadt, founded the Order of the Illuminati, a secret organization formed to oppose religious influences on society and the abuse of power by the state, by fostering a safe space for critique. I mean, that's how these groups self-identify as positive groups. And then you have the Freemasons, which were formed in 1717. They founded at the Grand Lodge, an association of Masonic lodge in England. But we know that now there are lodges all around the world. Of course, for us directly in South Africa, the shocking thing is that where Parliament is, actually it is the land of the Freemasons. They have inside the precinct of Parliament one of their lodges or their temples. And they claim that members of all political parties in government are members of the order. In South Africa, inside Parliament precinct, you have a temple of the Freemasons. In fact, at the beginning of Parliament under colonialism, they used the hall of the Freemasons as the first sitting of Parliament. So power and the Freemasonry is interlinked. They control political power. And so their own mission, if you look at the Illuminati, for instance, it talks about its purpose is to secure the ongoing survival of the human species. Like all organisms, the human species naturally strives against extinction. Though through your countries you have borders, though countries have borders and your languages have barriers, all people in naturally strive against extinction. Okay. So they claim generally that they are here to serve the interests of the human species against extinction. Now, here's the big thing. However, they have a secret oath. And part of it reads like, under no less a penalty that of having my throat cut across, my tongue torn out by the root, and my body buried in the sand of the sea at low watermark. You must keep the secret, or these things will happen to you. Now, why, if the fraternity is about human progress, it's about all these positive things, does secrets of the society require such deep commitment to protecting them that if you divulge them, your life will be in danger? Of course, we know that there was some opposition to the Freemasonry. Firstly, it was the Vatican. Of course, if the Freemasonry started in England, they must, of course, mean that they are part of the British establishment, including the Church of England, and that threatens the interests of the Vatican and the Roman Catholic Church. And one of the first opposers of the Freemasons is the Catholic Church and the Vatican. They call the Masons the synagogue of Satan. So, if you are a Freemasonry, you are not allowed to join the Catholic Church. And we know that in America there was a political party formed in 1828 in response to fears that the group was growing too secretive and too powerful. A whole political party was formed to oppose the Freemasons. Politically, here is their biggest achievement. Do you know that 13 of the 39 signatories of the US Constitution were Masons? 13 of the 39. So they put themselves very high in the echelon of power. And we know that founding fathers like Washington, Jameson, Monroe, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, and Paul Revere were all counted themselves as members of the fraternal order. There is about 6 American presidents which are also part of the Freemasons. So this is not a Mickey Mouse arrangement. This is an arrangement of power, of serious power. Linked to this idea of a new world order. We know that big players there are like Bill Gates, Soros, people who are accused, amongst others, of creating diseases, population control, are involved in creating, apparently part of the conspiracy is to chip up the whole world. Already in Europe, people are allowing themselves to be microchips to be put in their bodies. And in this way, it is easy to, I suppose, go into the bank, go into the train, you just run your arm against the machine. But it also means that you are within a matrix system which is controlled by powers away from yourself. Now, this is part of the New World Order, which it is claimed is part of the Illuminati project, and the Freemasonry is part of it. So when we see our kings, being part of these orders, these global forces, the question must be asked, why do they join these global forces? Because it means joining means submission to them. It means that they're going to rule in the interests of these global forces. We have to ask our leaders, our kings, what is their association with these global forces? And on our part, we have a big responsibility to study these forces, to understand where they come from, to understand how they operate, to understand what their interests are. But what we can say now is that their general agenda is global domination. It's controlling the world. If we check 3 kings, King Moshoeshoe, King Zwelithini, King Mswati of Eswatini, they all have the uniform of the British Army. They have that red uniform which they wear, showing their allegiance to the throne, raising therefore the question of whether as part of the Commonwealth and as part of a system of global power which is connected to the United Kingdom, are these not servants of the crown instead of being servants of our people? Look at those uniforms. Why would anyone who is a king in their own kingdom dress as a servant of the Queen, of the British crown? It means that their first allegiance is allegiance to the British crown, linked to the Freemasons, Masons, as we know, founded in the United Kingdom. FARRAKHAN explains the power and place of these Freemasons. Take a listen and a look. There you are. Brother FARRAKHAN shows us that the Freemasons are a global force of no good. And we must be worried and concerned that African leaders associate themselves with these powers in this manner. It therefore suggests that the African rule is operating as a subordinate force to the bigger powers to which they bow to which they pay allegiance to, through these rings, and in the case of Nelson Mandela, actually going into a ceremony and dressing up like one of them. We are not going to be free until we understand the totality of how these powers operate and how our leaders are subordinating themselves into such global powers. These things are secret, these things are global, and these things are everywhere. And as we know, in South Africa, they are right inside Parliament. So, we are captured nations. We need to free ourselves by understanding better what these powers represent and where they come from. Zwelithini.
Siyawuthatha umhlaba siyawuthatha. 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 Amandla!